Welcome aboard Monday's Market Outlook here. TOPGUN Options, Matthew Buckley, call sign Wiz, and wanted to wait for the closing bell to sound to take a look at the round trip. Look at this. We essentially closed flat on the day on the S&P 500. We had a little gap at the open up to 55.50. Then we hovered for a little bit, imploded all the way down to 54.75. And like I said, kind of almost a round trip in the S&P 500. Let's go take a look at it, bigger picture here. We have ripped through the 20-day moving. We're technically inverted. I can't believe we're going up towards the 200-day or the 50-day up here, but it is what it is. So we hit the 20-day moving average with some airspeed. I said, hey, if we hit this with airspeed, the next stop would be the 50-day. Why? Because in between these moving averages, I call no man's land. It's like World War I trench warfare, or right, the war to end all wars. We're actually having trench warfare in Eastern Europe right now, so that's kind of sad. That just hit me. Anyway, nothing lives in no man's land. We either get pulled up to the next moving average, or we head back down to what we just went through to find some support. So it's decision time for the S&P 500. We're either going to rip up or we're going to test back down here. Hey, before I forget, on May 7th, so next week, I don't know why I haven't thought of this before. It's only been 15 years. But to be honest with you, well, no, the Fed meetings have always been market moving. It's pretty funny. I think the last, up until 2008, I really didn't pay attention to the Fed too much. Not too many people did. But in 2008, when Ben Bernanke, got involved in safe capitalism with the great financial crisis, and George Bush, the cokehead, not the naval aviator, listened to Paulson run into the Oval Office. Oh my God, Mr. President, if we don't bail out Wall Street, everybody's going to die. Wrong. We should not have bailed out Wall Street, but that's a separate conversation. What I'm getting at is, before the great financial crisis, nobody cared about Fed meetings too much. Now, these are market moving events, especially since the last Fed meeting and this one, Donald Trump saying, Jerome Powell's a loser and all sorts of stuff like that. Clearly, and then, of course, after calling him a loser and somebody should fire him, he caught a lot of heat. The market imploded. And then he backtracked and said, nah, I have no intention of firing. Yeah, duh. I told you, Mr. President, you can't fire him. You're going to need him to be your punching bag. So name, his successor 6 months from now, with 6 months left on the clock for Powell, and he'll be like the shadow Fed chief. And I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, whoever Trump nominates will be a dove, talking about cutting rates and everything like that. So the confirmation hearings are going to be an absolute nightmare. So don't know, folks. How do you know the market bottomed? You don't. You have to look in the rear view mirror, folks. But, it looks like we have a solid bounce off the bottoms here. There's Liberation Day back here. There's the implosion. There's a 90-day pause. There's everything's worse. Now it looks like we've filled this gap on the S&P 500. Let's go out. Let's take a look at a year chart of the S&P 500. Yeah, this is, no, we still got a while. It looks like the 50-day, if we get up to this blue line here, that'll be, filling this massive implosion. And that'll be bullish, folks, right? As the dust is starting to settle, you see the VIX coming in here. Let's go take a look at the VIX. Remember, once something's known, it's known, right? Volatility should start coming in, and it is. Look at that. So here's the freak out, the initial freak out, and then volatility can come in even if things are still crappy. Even if there's trade war this or, bad that, it's known. It's known crappy and known trade war and known stuff. That's why a lot of people get frustrated, looking at the VIX here. I'm like, you got to recognize, folks, the initial freak happened, and now volatility comes in. Ain't nothing to say that Netanyahu doesn't attack, the nuke sites in Iran. Xi Jinping eventually moves on Taiwan. Another huge trade fight with China. There are potential black swan events out on the horizon. But for now, at least, the VIX is telling the markets, we know things are kind of crappy and uncertain right now. It's baked in, okay? Why am I rambling about this? Because I'm actually going to we're going to do a live trade brief during the Fed meeting on May 7th at 2 p.m., okay? Not just for members. I'm going to open it up to the public because there are some potential S&P 500 sniper shots we can take. We'll start it at 2, which is when the Fed announcement is. I don't think Jerome Powell's cutting interest rates at this next Fed meeting. I haven't looked at the Fed's funds futures rate, the odds of a rate cut for this meeting, but it's slim to none, and Slim just left town. Should he? I don't know. I mean, that's obviously something we got to talk about here. He cut literally right in front of the election, 50 basis points, as inflation was going up and the market was at record highs. Now we essentially just survived a bear market, maybe, trade uncertainty. Back then, folks, in the fall, the Atlanta Fed was forecasting like a 3.0 GDP. Now it's negative 3.0. So everything is the exact opposite of when he cut 50. This is when he should be cutting, not when he did back then. So I'm actually going to try this out here. So if you missed our full throttle, full week of live trading and training, too bad, so sad. We are airborne without you, but I'll do this live one here, and maybe we'll open up some monthly, not annual, full throttle memberships. Make sure you go to the Top Gun Options YouTube channel, and you can go watch the replays from all of our full throttle back here. There's day 1, day 2. This one's awesome. I think this is on our homepage too. Let's see. Yeah, it is the America trade. Bullish on America, folks. If you are bullish on America 5 years out into the future, I'm showing you a trade for a couple grand. If that, you could potentially make $100,000 if the market recovers and moves up and to the right, which I absolutely think it is. So go check out this America trade on the homepage, or it's on our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. But I'll post this link in my social media, in my link tree, or underneath the description of this video on our YouTube channel. Okay, so I'll put this link to join this FOMC live trading session all over. You should be able to find it, no problem. A lot going on, folks. Still, war in Ukraine, still war, Israel still threatening to potentially attack and not let Iran get nukes and stuff like that. So a lot of potential bad running around out there. And remember, folks, Vladimir Putin, Zelensky, they don't give a shit about tariffs in our trade war. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't care about any of this stuff as well. They are caring about their own stuff, but these are all potential big events that could reach out and touch this market. The biggest thing on my radar this week is the Magnificent Seven, right? 4 out of maybe they're the Maleficent 7 right now, are reporting. All I care about this week essentially is the Death Star. Here we go. A reckoning for the Magnificent Seven tests the market, right? So Amazon is Thursday after market close. We covered a couple trades today in our solo Amazon brief. Sadly, if you're a solo Amazon member, I do this once every 6 months. It seems like I forgot to press record. Make sure you provide me some mutual support. Like, hey, Wiz, is this recording? You should hear recording in progress. I failed, so that sucks. But I still sent out the trades, and I posted them also, obviously, in our solo Amazon thread on our member page and on the app, right? You download the app, you get an alert whenever I post this stuff near instantaneously. It's like a second or two. So a lot of good stuff going on. This is a big decision week for the Fed, for earnings, and also the jobs report on Friday. Big week. If the Mag 7 aren't horrific and the guidance isn't horrific, I think this rally's got legs. But if not, all these have been sell the rips. Look, implosion, rip, sell it. Implosion, rip, sell it. Huge implosion, huge rip, huge sell it. Rip. One of these times, the rip will be for real. It will be the rip, and we will pull out of this thing. But be careful of bear market rallies, folks. They can be painful, and they can suck you in, and you can get slammed. Buy quality names. JP Morgan, Amazon, SIBO, Raytheon, all are long-term bullish names, are solid names that you want to get at a discount now, okay? And I'll cover all this stuff in our free brief. So make sure you register for our free brief. I'll go put this link, like I said, everywhere, but if you can't remember it, it's go.topgunoptions.com/FOMC-live-trade-session. Okay? One more time, I'll go sprinkle this link all over my social media and in the email if you are on our email list. Have a great rest of your day. Go Cats. Watch the Lightning Panthers game tonight. This one's going to be a bruise fest. Fights on. Namaste and God bless. I'll talk to you all later.